Let's look at 5 amazing things about the incredible Cane Corso. When it comes to Cane Corsos, one of the best things about naturally protective dogs is that they will invariably choose their loving leader over anyone else. Bribery with food or toys or gentle fuss won't challenge their absolute loyalty to you, because trust cannot be bought, it must be earned. More naturally open and sociable dogs might happily greet strangers at the door or temporarily abandon you at the drop of a hat for a piece of sausage, but not the Corso, who naturally treat those outside its circle with suspicion at worst and aloofness at best, and it keeps its circle small. Now obviously all dogs are famed for their loyalty and commitment, don't get me wrong, but a Corso really makes you feel it. Like wedding vows, the Corso forsakes all others and is faithful to you for as long as you both shall live, and there's something really magical about that. When it comes to the Corso, I may be biased as a well-known lover of giant breeds, but I'm pretty convinced that big dogs give the best hugs in the canine world. Obviously, not being primates, most dogs find being embraced actually quite uncomfortable, but that doesn't mean that they don't like physical closeness. Corsos are a big fan of being the little spoon and have their habit of throwing their backs or buttocks into you to get as close as possible. If they're really comfortable, they may even lay their enormous heads on you and gaze adoringly into your eyes. Whatever cuddle configuration that they decide to go with, Corsos have a way of making you feel utterly safe, utterly adored when they give you their love. Now, controlled research on this topic is very limited, but my experience and decades of anecdotal evidence suggests that these rugged dogs live longer. Now, when I say rugged, I'm talking about dogs whose working purpose is alive and well, whose breeding hasn't been constrained by conformation shows, and as a result have a more diverse genetic pool and breeding practices that favour longevity and capability. You can see this in working Mastiff breeds in many regions of the world, from Spain to Turkey to Tibet. And because some Corsos still operate as working dogs in Europe particularly, there is a genetic variety that spreads far and wide. European Corsos live longer and are healthier according to research, whilst North American Corsos have slightly shorter lives, likely due to the massive increase in popularity leading to poorer breeding. On average though, Corsos outlive popular giants such as their English, French and Neapolitan cousins. Corsos and other natural guardians are famed as phenomenal protectors of people and homes, but that doesn't mean that every Cane Corso owner needs to commit to a life of no visitors for fear of liability, because most modern Corsos are not on the extreme end of protectiveness. They can be raised to be pretty tolerant of things that would totally trigger a more intense guardian. Indeed, Corsos who have been rigorously and extensively socialized to visitors and strangers since puppyhood can live relatively normal lives. They will likely remain somewhat aloof and wary of visitors to the home, and more so when left alone to decide how to act, but they will still be fine with it. It's up to you to decide how open your home is going to be. Indeed, in contrast, a Corso who hasn't been taught to accept strangers of all shapes and sizes from an early age will be a consummate protector and see them off with its terrifying bark, trusting very few people. Corsos are working Mastiffs. Unlike most Mastiff types nowadays, they remain phenomenal athletes with impressive stamina. They can play and walk and train all day if you want them to, but when they're indoors, they are champions of snoozing. Famously lazy in the home, these dogs are masters of this dichotomy, from stunning athleticism to unshakable snoring in a matter of seconds. That kind of versatility and adaptability is hard to find and is an absolute must for any active person in a small house, which is most people at the end of the day. Don't think that their sleepiness means that they are no longer vigilant or alert though, because this sentinel head of the protective Corso always sleeps with one eye open and is ready to spring into action when the need strikes.